Oops, let's go back. All right, good afternoon, and thanks for tuning in for our update regarding the Monterey construction project. We want to tell you where we are in the scope of all of our capital improvements that we're making here in Mapleton, and then give a specific update to Monterey, and then make sure we have time to answer any questions you have. First of all, we'll all introduce ourselves. My name is Mike Crawford. I'm the Senior Deputy Superintendent in Mapleton Public Schools, and one of my responsibilities has been to oversee our capital construction program over these past few years. Go ahead, Melissa.
My name is Melissa Johnson. I'm the Director of School and Community Engagement.
Hello, everyone. My name is Maria Chavez, and I'm the District Translator.
Hi, everyone. I'm Eleanor Burke, and I am the Project Manager for RB+B Architects. We are the architects involved in the Monterey renovation project.
Terrific, thanks. So we always like to start presentations with a review of our mission statement. It really does mean something to all of us who work in Mapleton. It talks about helping all students achieve their dreams, and that's kind of the essence of it, is that we strive to help all students achieve their dreams. And the things that are like bulleted out in the mission statements are the means, the way that we do this work. And the last one is highlighted on the next slide. It talks about a resourceful and responsive community working together to ensure that no obstacle shall impede a student's success. We really think that's the part of the mission statement that really drives the work of making facilities better. Almost 20 years ago now, Mapleton engaged in a reinvention of the school district, and that involved reinventing all of our schools into small by design learning environments. And some people started to call us a portfolio district, where we have a menu of schools, and they each have their own model for learning and their own options that are unique to that school, and all families choose which school they want to attend. Part of that reinvention was to talk about schools as the people and the learning that happened within those organizations of people. And we started to say, well, schools are not buildings at all. Schools are about the people and about the learning. What we learned, however, is that the buildings do matter. They matter quite a bit in terms of being able to help students and support the particular kind of learning that happens at a school. So going back, again, a number of years, we've had several assessments of our facilities in Mapleton. Some of them have been coordinated with the Department of Education. Some of them have been by our own consultants. But we found that our facilities had huge needs that needed to be addressed. One, particularly in 2009, you'll see that the Parsons Group did a facilities assessment of all the school buildings in the state and ranked Mapleton 170 out of 178 at that time in terms of the condition of our school buildings. We think we've made a lot of progress since then, and that's part of what we want to just get to today. Excuse me. Phase one of our facilities master plan involved the Skyview campus at about 88th and York. There are 5 small schools on that campus now. That cost about $56 million, but a big part of that, $32 million, came from the state of Colorado BEST program. You'll hear that BEST program come up a lot as we move along through the presentation too. We have been extremely fortunate to write successful grants to that BEST program so that the state of Colorado as a whole is helping to invest in the Mapleton community along with our local taxpayers. Phase 2 is also part of the same 2010 bond program, and that was an addition for the high school piece at York and kind of a facelift of the York International facility. Phase 3 is what we started in 2016 with the passage of the most recent bond. Phase 3 is big, so a lot of the projects we're going to talk about in the next few slides are part of Phase 3. That was a total of $150 million bond. We've also had some BEST grants that we've been able to add to that pot of money and some other smaller grants. So when we get all finished, Phase 3 and 4 together are probably $200 million. But part of Phase 3 was right here where several of us are sitting at the Broadway campus. We renovated a portion of this building at 7350 Broadway to house a small high school called Big Picture College and Career Academy. We built an idea lab. We took down the old John Dewey building to build 3 school buildings for global primary, global intermediate, and global leadership. And then we're going to complete the Mapleton Arts Center here within the next 7 or 8 months. And there's just some pictures of some of the work that's happened here at the Broadway campus. Also in phase 3, we did an addition and renovation to the Welby Community School, a new gym, music room, preschool area, office area. We had some grant money there to really work on an outdoor learning park that's turned out really neat. And then also Adventure Elementary was completely demolished and replaced on Conifer. That one included $6.5 million in best funds. And there's Welby and Adventure. Trailside Academy and Explore PK8 were 2 new school buildings on sites and in neighborhoods where we had not had a school before. Both of them are in neighborhoods where there's new development. Trailside is at about 68th and Zuni in the Midtown neighborhood, and Explore is at 104th and York. Now, we had an Explore school that was a K6, and they moved into this new facility and became a PK8. And then finally, preschool on Pose is really the old Explore building, and we're creating that preschool center within the center of the district. So again, you'll see some grant money that's helped us take the taxpayer money a little further with those projects as well. There's Trailside at the top and Explore at the bottom. Valley View is also part of phase 3 and is an ongoing project. In fact, we'll just break ground in January of 2021 at 70th Avenue and Fox Street. That's a replacement building. Also a BEST grant project. That will be a project-based learning school. And the one that probably most of you are interested in is Monterey. Monterey had some good bones and was not the worst school building in the district, but had some big needs as well. Some of those related to safety and security and the layout of the site and the layout of the building. And then Monterey has never had a gym separate from the cafeteria. So it's also getting a gym, music room, addition, renovation. And that's the one we're going to go in a little bit of detail now and see if we can answer questions about Monterey. This is what the building has looked like for quite some time. And this is a rendering of what it will look like sometime, in the next 9 months or so. So maybe I'll turn it over to Eleanor and let Eleanor talk about the next few slides. I'll chime in here and there.
Sure. So as Mike mentioned, one of the big needs for Monterey is to provide a separate gymnasium apart from the cafeteria. And so we'll be building a new addition on the west side of the site. That's that new big 2-story size box you see on the west side. This will eliminate scheduling conflicts between PE and the cafeteria right now. And it will also expand that gym space. Right now, Monterey only has an elementary size gym, and this will provide the school with a full middle school size court. The other thing we really looked at is the safety and security and circulation of the site. So Monterey has an unusual layout with the parking lot on the north side of the building. And this was, early on, we really figured out that this was a security issue for the school. The front office really can't see who's coming and going from that north parking lot. And so we made the decision to move the entire main parking lot and the bus loop to the south side of the site so that the receptionists have full view of who is coming and going throughout the building. The other thing we needed to look at was providing adequate fire truck access. So you'll see some new fire lanes on the north and south side of the site that really give the emergency crews full access to the building. Some of the things that are showing up in these couple slides, we're looking at putting a new playground closer to the main entrance. We heard from staff and the school district that the playground right now is just too far away from the school to be easily monitored. We've heard of some issues of, if kids get hurt on the playground, it's a pretty far walk to get them back up to the school. So this new plan has the playground shown on the right-hand side of the screen there, close to the school for easy monitoring. That's going to be a great new feature. It's actually a hillside playground, so that'll be super fun for the kids, along with a new basketball court there. And here you can really, well, this is a picture of what the new gym will look like. As Mike mentioned, we'll be putting a new music room adjacent to the gym. Monterey is a community school, and so the focus here was to really make this a community like center. So this is going to have its own after hours entry, and the entire community can really use this as a performance and athletic space. Here is a picture of the existing front entry. Part of our scope of work was to provide a secure entry vestibule. So we'll be enclosing this entry, and we'll provide a new direct access into the reception office so that visitors will have to be buzzed in first to the reception, and then they can enter in to the rest of the school. So this is a rendering of what that new entry will look like. Here are a couple images of the existing admin office. We're making some major upgrades in this office. Here's the rendering here, a new reception desk, new windows out to the west that'll allow the receptionist to really keep an eye on who is coming and going through the building. And then you can see here, they have a full view now of that parking lot to the south, so they can, again, monitor who's on the campus.
I might just point out just kind of the colors here. What we learned along the way is that Monterey means the King's Mountain. And so we try to take a mountain theme and use blues and greens and purples and incorporate a mountain theme into the design wherever we could.
Exactly. You'll see lots of natural materials as well, real wood and wood laminates, just to really tie in that mountain theme. This is an image of the renovated media center. So right now the media center is fully enclosed from the hallway, and Mapleton really wanted to open up this media center, make it feel more like a bookstore. Kids can come and go as they please, pick up a book and read it if they'd like. It could also be used as a secondary community space after hours. And we're actually completely opening up this media center to the back side of the school. You'll see a maker space there in the background where the mountain peaks are shown. Opening up the center of the school really gives people a good wayfinding anchor as they walk throughout the space. Monterey's hallways right now are very enclosed, and it can be a little disorienting to walk around that building. So opening up the center core will help anchor where you're at in the space. Here's a picture looking from the back side of that space into the new maker space.
You can see up at the top kind of the before picture. And one of the things I always noticed at Monterey was just that there were some dark spots, and the lighting, and especially in the hallways, was not good. And so if you notice the difference in just the colors and in the lighting in those two pictures, I think it's going to be a big improvement.
Yes, all new LED lighting will be huge, and also a great energy saver for the district. This is just that makerspace again. So hopping upstairs to the cafeteria and gym, this is a before picture. One thing we noticed was that when you first walk into the school, you can't really tell that there's a second floor. You're not even sure how to get there. So that was one of the problems we wanted to address. Also, once you're on the second floor, you've got good daylighting in this space, but no real sense of a view to the outside. So you'll see in the next few renderings, we've really tried to improve upon that.
I think this just shows you how you will get to that new space. Eleanor mentioned that it's hard to find your way up to that old cafeteria with the stairwells on the back of the building. So this is sort of a grand staircase that's close to the front door, which also serves to bring a lot of light in through the center of the building. But that's how you will now get up to the cafeteria.
Exactly. And this is a rendering inside that cafeteria space. As I just mentioned, it was hard to really see out from that space, so we are adding some new view windows toward the south, and you'll really be able to take advantage of that hillside location on the second floor and get a great view from that space. And we're calling this the Summit Cafe, just going along with that mountain theme. This is a screenshot looking back toward the new kitchen area and the new serving line.
I put this slide in just because Monterey is one of the first projects we're really thinking about some of what does the transmission of virus look like in schools, and how do we make schools more comfortable and feel more safe and be more safe in terms of the health of everybody who lives or works there and goes to school there. So we are including operable windows, and that's the first time we've built a school building with operable windows for quite a number of years. In addition to lots of hand washing sinks and bottle fillers and that sort of thing.
We're looking at a couple different color schemes for the main entry. This is a picture taken just a few weeks ago. The top image just has a white option for that canopy, and the bottom, I think we're leaning toward that bottom image a little bit more, maybe painting that canopy a teal bluish color to match the interior of the building, just to give it some nice pop at that front entry.
Yeah. So, we started designing this school, almost a year ago, and started construction this past summer. As we started construction, a lot of things changed. Partly the pandemic affected our work in schools a lot. A lot of students and families in Mapleton chose to go online for their school this year. That opened up lots of space in bricks and mortar schools, space enough that we could relocate for this year the students from Monterey. So it really helped the construction in some ways and probably brings down cost a little bit to be able to just vacate that building and finish the construction. So if you are a temporarily relocated student or family, we appreciate your patience this year, and just know that it's really helping to get this done and get it done in a quality way. So that's this year. We're looking at some possible additional site improvements that are going to take some additional grant money. Monterey, as you know, has a large site, plenty of room for things like tennis courts and a community walking path, and we'd love to do those things, but we're going to need to pursue some either open space money or different kinds of grant funding to do that. We hope that can happen maybe even this summer. But most importantly, we plan to do a ribbon cutting in August of 2021 on Monterey, and look forward to welcoming everyone back to that school. So Melissa, do we have questions? Have we heard questions about Monterey that we should address?
Yeah, we do, Mike. Thank you for that presentation. So we do have some questions that we've received from our community about this construction project. Mostly a lot of comments. A lot of people are very excited. The school was very in need of a significant makeover. So we've just been blown away by what we've been able to do to this building. So thank you, Eleanor, to you and your team, and for all of your fantastic work. Some of the questions that have come in, were students and families involved in the design of this school?
They were. We took, we did some surveys at the school, and we showed them some initial renderings and got feedback on those to move through. That's what comes to mind. Eleanor, am I missing anything?
Yeah, I think we worked really closely with the staff for sure. They had a lot of needs that they brought to our attention. And then, the staff was just relaying a lot of the concerns they were hearing from parents and students along the way.
And the
Yeah.
principal at the school has been, the school director has been at almost every meeting since the very beginning. So good transmission from community there too.
And I know some of those concerns were safety concerns prior to the renovation. So do you think, will families notice significant improvements when we get to reopen Monterey?
Very much so. I think they're really going to appreciate the way they can come all the way off the street to either drop off students or park and have a separate way through for buses. I think that's going to feel a lot safer. And I think, as Eleanor mentioned, the entrance is going to feel a lot safer because office staff will be able to see who comes and goes. They can buzz people in and see who's coming in and out and control those doors in a much different way. I think they're going to notice, it's going to feel safer and it's going to be safer.
So Mike, I know you spoke to Monterey's timeline. Families are curious if the project is on schedule and if we anticipate any additional delays or if everything appears to be on time.
I think at this point we're on time. I think things are going pretty smoothly. You know, we've come on a couple of unexpected things in the building, but with this kind of time and with nobody being in the building now, that really helps to address kind of challenges as they come up. The only thing that might lag, like I say, is some of the site improvements, depending on when we can secure the money for things like sports. I have some doubt about whether that'll be done by the time that students will return, but we'll continue working on some of those outdoor things. But with the playgrounds and that sort of thing should be done.
Great. And you also mentioned that we had to make that tough decision to close the school prior to opening in August. Will all Monterey students, former Monterey students, will they be guaranteed a seat in the new Monterey when we reopen in the fall?
Mm-hmm. I don't know if we've said guaranteed. We have certainly said prioritized, and I don't imagine any problem with having students come back. I think that they will be able to come back to Monterey if that was their home school in 1920. You know, shouldn't be a problem.
Great. So I know you also mentioned BEST grant funds, and one of the questions that came in, we know that with the BEST grant comes certain energy efficiencies for the building. Will we see those in Monterey, and what kind of BEST grant energy efficient items will we see?
You want to try that, Eleanor?
Sure. So yeah, with the BEST grant, we have got to get a CHIPS certification. So CHIPS is similar to LEED, so it's a green building certification.
Collaboration for high-performing schools or something like that?
Yes. Yep. And so they're looking at everything from energy efficiency to the types of materials that we're putting in the building. On the energy side, we're putting in a whole new mechanical system. So right now, Monterey, well, I guess last year, they were using unit ventilators in each classroom. And we're replacing all of that with new rooftop equipment, more centralized equipment that is much more efficient and also more thermally comfortable than those unit ventilators. The entire school is getting new LED lighting. Lighting is one of the biggest energy hogs of all the systems, so that will greatly improve the energy efficiency. I'm trying to think of any other energy related items.
Some of them are energy, and then there are other criteria that have specifically to do with schools, like acoustics.
Yes.
All of the instructional spaces have to work well acoustically. It has to be easy to hear the teacher and that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, acoustics is a big one. Daylighting, just green materials in general. All of the carpets and paints that we're using in the school has low VOCs, which are volatile organic compounds that off-gas over time. So that really impacts your indoor air quality.
And recycling, we have to recycle some of the things that are demolished or need to be taken out of the building.
Exactly. Yeah, so a lot of great green improvements, and we're on track to fully get that certification.
All right.
Great, thank you. And then one last question. Will families be invited for tours anytime soon?
We hope so. This is, of course, we're going to have to see what happens with the spread of the COVID-19 virus. We'll see. But what we'd like to do, what we hope to do, is to do a public ribbon cutting in August and do that as a celebration for the community and let community come in and take a look. If we can't do that, we would absolutely be doing virtual tours and having the school director and maybe some of us take a walk to the school with the camera and putting those kind of things online so that parents and community members can see what it looks like. We hope to do it in person, but we'll see.
Great, thank you.
All right. I just want to kind of close out, the next 4 slides by just telling you kind of what we have next, because phase 4 isn't the end of our bond program. We still have a few items on our master plan to complete with respect to facilities. These 4 buildings achieve the preschool building on Pose that I talked about, Meadow, and then York are going to have some unmet needs, even as a result of the 2016 bond money. When we get finished with the projects I've talked about so far, we'll have somewhere between $4 and $5 million left to do sort of the absolute necessities at these buildings. If you have thoughts about that, or you have neighbors who have thoughts about that, put them in touch with us. We'd love to hear feedback about what would allow Meadow or York or Achieve to really function at the level of some of our new buildings. What would it take? And should we invest as much as we can in these buildings, or should we take a longer view and eventually plan to replace Achieve Academy or Meadow? Or what's the right thing to do with those buildings? It's something that we're having a conversation about now, and we're open to input about that. Preschool, we put a small amount of money in there so that we could open it as a preschool, but that building too is probably not a 30-year building unless it has a lot more work or a plan. So give us your feedback about what those particular facilities need if you have it. And then looking even longer term, someday our facilities plan might involve another small high school. There's lots of land still left at 104th and York where we could do a career training center or a small high school. Those are just ideas at this point. Another idea that we've heard from others is the possibility of building a field house at the stadium. Right now, the locker rooms, the public restrooms, the concession stand are either temporary structures or they're a long way from the stadium. And so we might try to remedy that at some point. But if you have things that you'd like us to consider related to facilities, we'd love to hear suggestions. I think that concludes our presentation for today, unless we have any other questions.
I think that's it.
All right. Thanks so much for tuning in. In December, we will do a short meeting about the Mapleton Arts Center so that you can get a glimpse of what we're doing there. Until then, take care.
Thanks, everyone.
I don't know where my controls went again. Okay, there they are.